What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Triple O'Clock coming at y'all from Texas here. And before I begin, I wanted to dedicate this video to one of my coworkers. His name is Cody. Told him that I'd dedicate a video for him, so here it is. He's going through some personal issues. He had to leave work, but hopefully he will be back one day. So yeah, this one is for Cody. Alright, so today I wanted to talk about the transition that I made going from a ZX10 to a cruiser, basically a super sport to a cruiser, and just like what I've noticed and like how it is basically. The first thing that I noticed getting onto going from a sport bike to a cruiser is, I guess, the power loss. It's basically the biggest difference, I would say. The power and the weight difference from going to a super sport to a cruiser. This bike does go pretty fast. Obviously nothing like a ZX10, but it goes fast enough where you don't really need to worry about worry about keeping up with traffic like on the highway or whatever. I've gotten this thing comfortably up to like 80, which is just pretty much perfect for the highway up here. The speed limit up here is I think 70 on the highway, the main highway that I usually go on. So I mean, it's fine that way, but like the acceleration and the actual like torque of the bike is obviously way lower. And I don't really mind it. I don't really mind that kind of a loss in power, simply because it makes me ride safer, I guess. I'm not really like in any danger of looping the bike or like I don't know, just totally destroying the bike because of the power. And it kind of makes me a little bit more easy riding the bike, because I'm not like focusing a lot on keeping the throttle tame and all that kind of stuff. The weight is also a really big thing. I feel a lot more planted on this bike. Like I could turn better, I guess, even though it's kind of like doesn't have as much of a turn radius. It's a little bit wider, obviously, but I don't know, those are really like the two big things going from a super sport to a cruiser, I guess. Another thing, I have my girlfriend is with me, and that's the next thing basically about the cruiser, is that it's so much better. It is so much better riding with a passenger on a cruiser, and that's really, you know, they put a lot more focus on the passenger also on these cruisers, because it's more of an upright seating posture, and when you hit the brakes or anything like that, there's not much of a weight transfer. On my ZX10, the rear seat was angled towards the rider or the driver or whatever. It was angled inward, so anytime you like hit the brake or anything, the passenger would just kind of slide into you. And basically, if I had to make a quick stop, or more of like an emergency stop, then I'm basically screwed, because I have to hit the brakes hard, and then I have, you know, the passenger slides into me, so it puts even more strain on me, I guess. So it wasn't a huge deal, and it really wasn't a big deal. But I mean, compared that to this, it's like night and day, obviously, because the passenger is seated upright, and the pegs are more forward, I guess, so it's more of like a traditional sitting posture. So braking is way better on this bike, and you know, it's way more comfortable for both rider and passenger, obviously. But I've owned cruisers in the past. Like I said in my last video, I've owned cruisers in the past, and I never really paid much attention to them because I've always had sport bikes too along with them, pretty much. As far as my my V-Star 1100 went, that thing sucked ass. But I own that ZX10. I've owned it for almost 2 years, and it's pretty crazy to think about because my my Marauder that I own, I've only owned it for like 6 months, and then that CBR, the first motovlog bike, was just around a year, maybe just over a year, I think. And then my ZX10 was almost 2 years, like a year and 9 months. So I think now maybe a year and 7 months, a year and 8 months, something like that. So almost 2 years, and relatively to me, that's a long time to own one. And I don't really know what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna keep this for a while. This bike has 28,000 miles on it, and it's an 07, so it's relatively new, basically. I mean, the bike is in pretty good condition. There's really not many scratches on it. That ZX10, I had that bike, and that thing was it had a deep history, and I'm not really too sure exactly what happened to it, but something happened to that bike where it had a dented gas tank and scratches all over the damn place. The radiator was like busted off halfway, so that bike was in pretty rough shape. But you know, like, this bike, it's so crazy because the damn ZX10 that I had was like, it had been rebuilt. Like, the electrical system was all screwed up, and freaking, like, having like the OEM like fabrication work on this thing, like with the electricals and like the hand controls and everything, it's really weird owning a bike like this. It's almost like test driving a bike, like a brand new one. If anyone was planning on going from like a super sport to a cruiser, I know not a lot of people do it. It's more the opposite, I think. A lot of people want to go from cruisers to sport bikes, and I can see why, man. Like, driving around like on this or like in my car or whatever, like it almost brings back that feeling of like, I really wish that I could just keep up with those guys and like haul ass and, you know, own a bike with a kick-ass exhaust. And I really like the sound of super sports. I love them. I love the high-pitched wail as they go by and all that. I love it so much. But I mean, the mature person, the mature side of me says that they're really not good for much, except for getting in trouble with the law. But so overall, I'm happy with going to a cruiser. I kind of wish that I could own a sport bike. Maybe not like a super sport, but maybe like more of a sport touring bike, like a like a Z1000 or something like that, or like a FZ1 or whatever they are, the MT10, or there's so many of them. But I think that's the way that a lot of people are going to be moving towards, is like the super nakeds and like the hyper nakeds and stuff, just because it's more of a comfortable seating position and way more comfortable to ride on, and you still get the thrill and the power and all that kind of good stuff, but it's really more comfortable than a traditional super sport. So yeah, I'd say that I'm definitely happy with this bike. I don't really know what I'm going to do to it. I might put on a better sounding exhaust, but other than that, I really don't have many plans. Is this this is Tennessee. I'm gonna go right here, I think. Anyway, but that's gonna be all for me. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Go ahead and leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. If any of you have gone through the transition like I have, let me know how you guys liked it or didn't like it or whatever. But go ahead and subscribe for some upcoming content. Next video is going to be my 100th video special, so I'm very excited about that. Be on the lookout for that, because I've had that video on my hard drive for quite a while, waiting for this 100th video special. So be on the lookout for that. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace out.